Well, welcome back to the Nightcap. I'm Josh Rimmer on nextsportstar.com. Joining us right now on the line, broadcasting legend and host of Larry King Now on Aura TV, Larry King. Larry, thanks for taking the time to be with us.
Always good to be with you, Josh.
Well, appreciate you stopping by. Larry, first, want to wish you a happy birthday, and I got to say, that was a pretty cool thing your wife, Shawn, did for you on your 80th birthday.
Yeah, she pulled it off. I had no idea to have a surprise at Dodger Stadium and have 260 people there. And
wow.
Did a great tape from celebrities, and just it was a great crowd. And they had batting practice, let all the guests swing at pitches. And had a high school team from Pasadena go out in the field and field the balls, and then we had a wonderful dinner. It was just an incredible night, and I was totally surprised.
Did you take a whack at it in the batting cage?
No, I did not. I was too busy. In fact, they fooled me so much they had the Dodgers send me a email saying that for season ticket holders they were going to have a special meeting to discuss next season and come to the Dodger club that night. And it was unbelievable, the whole thing, the way they put it together. And up on the scoreboard and my name and pictures up everywhere. It was crazy. It was crazy to be 80. I never thought I'd be 80. And
you don't look a day over 60, Larry.
Yeah, well, my father died when he was 46, and I had heart attack and heart surgery 27 years ago. And hard to believe I'm still around, but I feel good. And it's just when I was a kid, I didn't know anybody 80. When I was a kid, no one was 80. Nobody lived to 80 when I was a kid, and it's hard to believe.
Well, very happy for you, and that was definitely a real cool thing. I saw it all over TMZ, and was TMZ there as well?
Yeah, they were all there. A lot of people, Entertainment Tonight, all those shows, Insider, and
wow,
those the groupies.
Larry, I want to get your thoughts. Yesterday, 10 former NHL players filed a lawsuit against the NHL, a class action lawsuit, alleging the league didn't do enough to protect their brains. And what's been happening with football the last year and a half, are you at all surprised this is beginning now in another sport?
No, I'm not. This is a real serious problem, the problem of concussions and brain injuries, especially in the National Hockey League. When I started watching hockey as a kid, they didn't wear helmets, and the goalies didn't wear masks, and I never thought we never bought a scorecard. We knew every player in the National Hockey League. There were only 6 teams, and we knew them by their hairstyles and the way they looked. I knew everyone. And now, of course, with the helmets, I thought they're pretty well protected, but is the lawsuit based on concussions?
Yes. Head injuries, concussions, and maybe teams kind of hiding their injuries from them.
Well, what do you mean hiding the injuries from them?
I guess not really diagnosing it properly and letting them go out there and play again.
Well, let's see how the suits go. This is certainly a cause for concern. My kids, I have a 14-year-old and a 13-year-old. They're both athletes. They don't play hockey, but I won't let them play tackle football. They're baseball players, but if they'd like to play football, I wouldn't let them play. And someone told me that Pop Warner is down 30%.
Wow. People
joining. And that's not surprising. It's a logical fear of parents. I know I have relatives whose kids play hockey, and they love it, and they're going to grow with it. It's a terrible problem. They work on helmets all the time. I've interviewed brain specialists who say that as much as they try, there's not much you can do with it. They are both violent sports. Hockey, you're skating at 35 miles an hour and hitting people. And in football, of course, with the weight they have and the contact they make, and football's trying to do the best. They've changed the rules a lot on head-to-head injuries and head-to-neck injuries, and they're trying. I think they're doing the best they can, but both sports have to contend with this, and let's see how the lawsuits play out.
And are we going to see this in other sports now, Larry? I mean, obviously not in basketball or baseball, but possibly boxing or some of the other physical sports. Is this something that's going to be a trend now?
I wouldn't be surprised. Soccer, where they hit the ball, they use headers a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. And some of these sports, you look at English rugby.
Yeah.
They've been playing for years. How they do that, I'll never know. I mean,
Oh.
they avoid a serious injury there. It's worthy of certainly a cause for concern when you've seen in the National Football League suicides and players donating their brains for study. It's a horrible thing. You know, you're not going to ban the sport. I know some people think that football's going to go down over the years, and I don't think the National Football League's in any immediate trouble, but it's certainly a cause for concern, and certainly doctors are looking at it, and medical technicians and people who work on helmets and gear are looking at it. But when people are going at that kind of speed and hit each other and heads bang, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, we're now hearing in hockey. I mean, the last couple of years as well. We've had a couple of players, enforcers, guys who got hit in the face a lot in fights. Two guys take their own life, and we had another enforcer who overdosed on oxycodone. So there's definitely some similarities between football and hockey.
Yeah, and I have never liked the aspect of hockey I've disliked the most is the enforcer aspect. I don't like a guy whose only purpose is to create havoc. That's something they can do something about. That is certainly enforceable. You can change rules in that regard, I think. I've never enjoyed that aspect of the game. The old Flyers used to have those guys that were only there, Freddie Shero, some of his teams, were only there to create harm. I never understood that.
Now, you were a broadcaster in the NHL, Larry. You bring up Fred Shero. When Fred was in the NHL and winning those championships with the Philadelphia Flyers, I'm sure you were pretty happy to see Fred finally go into the Hockey Hall of Fame a couple weeks ago.
He certainly deserved it. I used to hate those teams because the Capitals were terrible then, and the Flyers would come in and Bobby Clark, they'd destroy us. And it just drove me nuts because I'm a real Cap. I've continued to be a Cap fan, even though I live in L.A. I follow the Caps. I watch them on DirecTV, and I love watching Ovechkin play. We're not a great defensive team, but we know how to score goals.
Now, Larry, are you going to have you bought tickets at all for the Coors Light NHL Stadium Series at Dodger Stadium when the LA Kings are going to take on the New York Rangers?
I will go to that event. It will be interesting to see. Now, this is a warm weather climate, you know.
Yes.
Right now, it's freezing here. It's 58 degrees, and that's freezing in L.A. So it's not the same effect as where they do it in other cities like, you know, in Detroit or Chicago or Fenway Park. I mean, that's wild. But yeah, I'll go and see. It should be fun, and I'll bet they get a packed house.
Do you like the outdoor games? Do you watch them at all on TV?
Oh, yeah, I think it's fun. I think it's a great idea. Whoever came up with it is a great idea.
Larry, I want to switch the focus with you before we let you go. I want to talk to you about what's been going on in the NFL with the Miami Dolphins. Have you been following that situation closely at all?
No, of course. I used to broadcast the Dolphins. I did color. I did the unbeaten season, which is one of the great thrills of my life. And I'm sorry to see that franchise have such problems. I love the Dolphins. Don Shula and I are friends. And yeah, I don't know. There's a situation. I really want to see some answer to this. I'm very puzzled by it. It don't make sense.
No. Have you? I know you don't really do much sports on your show, but have you thought about doing anything with this at all on your show?
I think we'll wait until we get the report from the guy who is looking into it. You know, I don't like to. My whole career, I've never tried to make judgments before facts come in. I don't have enough facts and information. It's a bewildering case to me. Were the guys friendly?
Yeah.
Was this guy kidding around when he sent that message to him?
It's unbelievable.
Mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
So I gotta get all the facts.
And let's be honest, Larry, the Dolphins were looking pretty good up until this all, came out. I mean, they were, a lot of people were picking them to go really far this year the way they were playing.
Yeah, I thought they'd go further. I thought they would challenge the Patriots. That's not going to happen. I mean, they still got a wild outside. It's ridiculous to me, these 5 and 6 teams that are hanging on to make the playoffs and be eliminated in the first round.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny with those playoff systems, the way they work. But, I wish the Dolphins the best. I like them. I went down there a couple of years ago. They brought me back. I broadcast half a game against in which the Dolphins beat the Patriots that day.
Wow.
So I root for them. I'd like them to win. I got a lot of affection for the Redskins too. I lived in Washington for 20 years. I think they should change their name. By the way, I think it's outdated and it harms people, and I don't see the sense of that. But maybe I'm in the minority. But
I agree with you, Larry.
It's football will always be popular. It's a once a week sport, and it's a bet sport, and that's its attraction is its violence. Its violence is what sells it, and. But we all watch it. Who doesn't watch the National Football League on Sunday?
That's true.
But baseball's still in my heart. That's the number one sport to me. I love the NBA. Go to a lot of Clipper games. My boys are going to the Clippers. Play the Knicks tomorrow night. I love this Clipper team. I love watching Chris Paul play. I love watching great athletes, and this is a great Clipper team.
Larry, I hear you just did a great interview with Garth Brooks. Tell us about it.
Oh, it was wonderful. Today, it's going to air on Monday. He was just so outgoing and so informative and so caring, and he started to cry at times. He's coming back. You know, got a special on Thanksgiving night, a live special. He's got a new album out. He's going to tour again. He's going back to the Wynn in January. I hope everybody watches it. It's really very emotional, very heartfelt. He's a tremendous guy. I've known him for years, but this was a special half hour.
Larry, one last thing for you. I have a question from Saul Bosquez. He'd like to know who's the best and worst person to interview and why.
The best person to interview are people who, if you have four qualities, if you have passion, if you can explain what you do very well, if you have a little chip on your shoulder and a sense of humor, you're a great guest, whether you're a football player, hockey player, ballet dancer, salesman. If you got those four attributes, and the worst guest is someone who one-words you, who never gets inside themselves, who gives you yes, no, yes, one-word answers, that's the worst. I've tried to avoid that through the years, but sometimes all you can do is all you can do.
Good stuff, Larry. Thanks for joining us as always. All the best to you again. Happy birthday, and we'll talk to you again soon, Larry. Thanks again.
Josh, hang tough. Thanks.
Definitely.
Michael Bublé, Larry King, Bob Costas, all the big names in sports and entertainment join Josh Brimmer on Nightcap, 10 p.m. to midnight daily here on NSS.